Okay, so this is kind of like a trip report from my trip that I went on before the Christmas break to Tokyo, Japan. These first couple of pictures are just of Pearson Airport. This is the plane, very similar to the one that we took, an Embraer 175. These shots are just climbing out of Toronto. You can see the bit of the city there. And this is just as we come above the clouds. There's some pretty cool shots. And this is us going from Toronto to Boston, as we're going Toronto, Boston, Boston to London, London to Tokyo, Tokyo back to London, and then London to New York. So these are shots of just of the wing and the engine. Some interesting cloud shots. This is going over Massachusetts, and this is us coming out over the water, just as we touch down in the airport in Boston. What you see there. And this is the terminal at Boston. There's some flags hanging from the ceiling, which I thought was pretty interesting. Nice to see they decorated the place. And then, since our next flight was with Virgin Atlantic and my dad flies for them, he got first class priority, and this is actually in the first class lounge for Virgin Atlantic at their clubhouse in Boston. So it was very cool. Spent some time there. Got some noodle soup, which was delicious before the flight. And this is on the plane. This is the first class, as I said. My dad gets priority, so it was pretty cool. So yeah, this is the first class. The bed actually, the chair turns into a fully flat bed, so it's really nice to have on a flight. Then these are some cloud shots when the sun came up. Very nice as we were going across England. There's the big engine, very cool. And yeah, this plane is a Boeing 787-9. It was just delivered a couple months ago, which was really nice to be on a brand new plane. This is some countryside over the west of London. Cool to see, very nice. And then this is London itself as we came in. It was really cool seeing the downtown area and all the landmarks and stuff. This is after we came into land. This is when we were taxiing. This is a big Qantas A380. Very cool plane. And since my dad's the pilot again and he knows the guy's flying it, I actually was able to go up to the flight deck and have a look around, even sit in the seat. It was really cool. As I said, brand new plane, so very nice. And this was my breakfast once we got into the terminal. I think this was at Terminal 2 in Heathrow. This is at the Cafe Nero. Very nice. My dad eats there a lot, considering he's there so often. Then after that, we went into London itself. This is the bridge. It's in the picture as we were coming in. Pretty cool. There's a bit of a panorama I took of the shard in the bridge. And there's this shard itself, which is really nice. And then the next day, since we stayed in London that night, this is the plane my dad's flying. So he's actually the captain, and this is, unlike the first plane, well, the second plane I was on, the 787, this one is not very new at all. This one's nearly 17 years old. It's getting kind of dated. It's an A340-300. Registration's G-Veld. Very cool though. And ironically, this is the same plane I flew to Tokyo on about 11 years ago. And this is the flight crew. Since I got there so early, I got to see everyone doing their thing, said hi to them. It's pretty cool. And this is as we were taxiing to the runway. This is another Emirates A380. And this is a series of photos of us rotating out of London. You can see the shadow of the nose comes up over the course of these photos. Then we eventually get into the air, and you can see the shadow of us getting smaller and smaller as we fly away. So that was really cool. And again, since I was in first class, we got some really nice meals. This was one of the desserts. It was really delicious. And this is a shot of the engines as the sun came up, because most of the time when we're flying over northern Russia, it was completely dark, so there wasn't much to see, and I was sleeping most of the time anyway. So yeah, these are the engines. I think this is over Khabarovsk, and this next one's over the Sea of Japan, I think. Yeah, right around there. And this is us this is the coast of Narita. This is when we went out over the coast to pull a U-turn to line up for runway in Narita Airport. This is when we were coming into the airport. You can see us just above the runway, and then we touched down. These are just some shots of the tarmac. And since my dad is the captain of this flight, he let me, well, of course he let me, he came up. I was able to go up into the flight deck, have a sit in the seat and hang around there for a bit as he did the flight checks and whatnot. And this is the plane from the terminal. Really cool. And we actually went into Japan because every time my dad comes here, he gets salted seaweed, which is a garnish we usually eat on rice here, and we can't buy it in Canada, so this is where we get it. And in the supermarket, we saw this. It's orange flavored Coca-Cola, so that was pretty cool. I didn't get to drink any, but it was pretty cool. And this is when we were walking through the parking lot to the temple gardens. My dad likes to go there and have a walk around when he's here. So that was pretty cool. Go through the forest, see the temples through the trees. And this is a little shelter thing built in the water, and it's in the middle of a koi pond. So you can see the carps are there, and there's actually writing on the inside of the ceiling, which is really cool. Yeah, here's the koi carp, really awesome. And we walked up the temples. You can see the temples there. Pretty cool. This was a waterfall we walked by. There's another temple here. There's a lot of temples, and we got to take some pretty cool photos. And this is a kind of gate shrine like thing. It was really cool as we were walking out. Here's actually a rock turtle that people throw coins on for luck, and that was pretty cool to see. This is just a street in Narita, walking around, and people were cutting eel on the street. It was pretty cool to see. All the small shops and everything were really interesting. And then this is a restaurant my dad took me to. This is the one he's been going to since he came to Narita with all his flight crew and people like that. It's the so-called noodle shop, and honestly, this soup was probably the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. So I've kind of been ruined from all the food since then. And the next day, these are some shots of when we actually got bused straight into Tokyo. So these are some of the buildings. We went along the freeway. You can see old people in the buildings and stuff. Really interesting. Once we got off, we went on the subway at Ginza and went all the way to Asakusa, which is right around where the Tokyo Skytree is. And you can see it in one of these pictures here. Yeah, this is one of the tallest buildings, if not the second tallest building in the world. I think it's about a little over 2,000 feet tall. So it was really, really cool to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go up it because it was really windy that day, but it was really clear, so we did get a good view. And after that, we went to the kind of entertainment district, the video games, all that kind of stuff district in Akihabara, which is really interesting, really flashy, all the colorful billboards all around. Really cool. Then after that, we took the subway around to Shinjuku, and you can see the buildings here. It's kind of a really cool place to walk around, just see what there is. There's a lot of shops and flashy signs and whatnot. This was a pretty cool building. It was really interesting architecture, so I took a picture of that. And then after that, we took the subway over to Harajuku, And this is one of the busiest streets there. As you can see, all the people on it. There's a lot of really cool, nifty shops and stuff there. And after that, we actually walked down from Harajuku to Shibuya. We passed Yoyogi Stadium, which was really cool. The big arched roof kind of thing. Really cool. And yeah, after that, we actually walked into the heart of Shibuya and we saw the famous crossing. I think I have a video in here somewhere. You can see all the people crossing the street. Really, really busy, awesome looking. All the big billboards and advertisements, stuff like that. Really, really cool. And yeah, we walked around there for a bit, took some more photos, that stuff. Then we were dead tired. We've probably been up for around 48 hours at this point, no sleep. So we headed back to the hotel pretty late that night, and that was the one day I had in Tokyo, which was really awesome. And then this is at Narita Airport again. This is a picture from boarding. This is something I've seen way too many times, an upper class boarding pass for the plane ride. And yeah, this is the same plane, good old G-Veld, come back to get us. And took some more pictures of the engines, which was pretty cool. And yeah, took the flight all the way back from Tokyo all the way to London. Yeah, that's that. But I did get some really delicious meal on there. Yeah, the first class food is just unbound. It's absolutely delicious. And this is when we came back into London. So this is the next morning. You can see the sun peeking through the clouds. This was at the Virgin Atlantic crew check-in. It was really cool. Saw some planes passing by. It's pretty cool. And then after that, there's the big Airbus A380, British Airways, third airline with A380 that I've seen on this trip so far. This one's registration is GX11, so that was pretty cool. And this was just taxiing as we were about to take off to New York. Dad's not flying on this one, but I did get first class again, which was pretty awesome. And here's some shots of some planes as we're taxiing. There's another Virgin Atlantic A330, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, this is as we were coming out of London. You can see the countryside again, really nice. You can see the clouds. Yeah, you can see some more cloud shots here. I think I got a decent one of the engine in there. But yeah, in first class they actually gave out a small tub of ice cream for me, which was really nice, very good. And then after that, we were about coming into New York. So here's the little island thing. So we were coming in, and here's where we were touching down. We got off walking through the airport, and we saw a big Transaero 747 all the way from Moscow. So really cool. Had a pretty neat paint job, so that was nice to see. And hopped on another little Embraer and went back to Toronto. I was completely dead at this point, barely stayed awake. But yeah, here's some shots of New York and the clouds. And yeah, I think I got one of Toronto in there, but yeah, that was the end of my trip. Really, really awesome for the flight. So that was really cool. Yeah, overall, really, really nice.